We say a wish, we say a prayer, silence. Oh, we go again. And first off, Einstein or Newton say, brackets, S, close the brackets, plural, that brought to you by Coles. One Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. There are, and there is, communication within the dead of silence. So today's tutorial is going to be, let's stop passing the buck in using people by first off, I'll get my book out. I've got 2 books. I've got a blue book and I've got a red book. What I've written so far, what I'm grateful for. Second dot point, multiculturalism. Third dot point, embracing culture. Fourth dot point, diversity. And the wind comes. Adaptation to change and skills. So, we've got consciousness, we've got subconsciousness, we've got the now present consciousness, we've got the later then epiphany, clarity, we've got the RON for the later on insight, we'll say schooling system. So if I'm in a classroom or down at the creek listening to the river and my teacher says schooling, it starts with S So I might say that I've forgotten what the thing is, but I know it starts with S. So I might say system. I might say sound. I might say static. I might say sub. I might say synonym. And then, I remembered, it was schooling. Now, here we have primary. We've got high school. We have college. And in between we have uni and TAFE. We have relation, family, lessons, downfalls, uphills, agony, stress, silence, if I say silence, if I say what I am grateful for, multiculturalism, embracing culture, diversity, adaptation to change, blah, 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 blah. And you've got 100 people in the room. One person might go, adaptation to change. And they're contemplating adaptation to change. That's number 5. Number 6 is skill. This person next to them is thinking about skills. Next person next to them thinking about relation. And they might be thinking adaptation to change for 5 seconds, 2 seconds, while the teacher is still going skills, relation, family, lessons, downfalls, uphills, silence, agony, stress. Just like a movie. Something's making sense. And then you go back and watch it and go, I never realised that bit after that what was making sense, that there was something there, because it's taking time to think. So, you've got the now time, the, say, present time, past time, the later time, now, that's the last bit that I wrote. I'm getting a little bit anxious. Let's go through the list again. So I've done 1 to 29. 1 is what I'm grateful for. 2 is multiculturalism. 3 is embracing culture. But if I'm going dirt, and then I'm going to read it out, and it goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 29, and I'm going to display it, I'm going to say it out loud, I will always start at the end first, which is 29 is schooling. So I've written out my thing. So say if a page, you've written out a book that goes to 300 pages, what's the last paragraph? What's the last segment? What's the last chapter? Let's display that first. Schooling. What is schooling? Schooling should be more about teaching the youth to cope with their peers and their elders. You can be told something and you can regurgitate it, or you can just sit back and be silent and being able to solve it in your mind. Just because you're older than someone does not mean you know more than everyone. It used to be, and Trump would agree, Trump would go, Martin, he was a master of just talking. And it was all like a competition who talks the most. Because they're just like, okay, say if it's all mathematics, say if something is what I'm grateful for, that's positive. And the broken system's like, how do we turn it into a negative? How do we turn into what I'm not grateful for? Or multiculturalism, that's a positive. Let's turn it into a negative. How do we break down multiculturalism? And so I'll say schooling. I'll try and relate them in threes. So 3, we'll put it in 3. We've got schooling, synonym, and sub. Sub means like below, like subsystem. Synonym is just another word to describe a word. Schooling. Schooling systems should always start, when I was at primary school, we would start off with our legs crossed, with hymns, listening, you should always listen to people. You should not feel compelled to butt in, to shut down. If someone has a mental illness or disability and you're listening to them, there should not be bias, negative, to try and automatically trying to think of a fault in what they are saying, to interject, to get them off track to what they're about to say. There is the now time. There is interpretation. If you say something and use a word that people are not comfortable with or know, you look at their face and it may look like it's not going right, so you might hesitate, feel uncomfortable. You need to sum up what you have said in 1 word or 2 words for that to be the sticking point, to being the point that they go and go away. People say, Martin, you have all this bad shit happen to you, but you somehow just end up coming through all right. Because I go, how can I make something good of this? And there's also randomness. So we'll try and make it into a song. Okay, Einstein says, you've got your briefcase, you've got your folder. You don't take everything out of your filing cabinet at once. There is randomness. So you can start from the top down, you can start from the bottom down, you can go from the left to right, to the right to left to the random. So I'll just say, the system needs to be sound. Schooling. Comes from more Ron, later insight. Your consciousness now into what you feel is limited compared to your subconscious. Put that into an explanation. I'm conscious that I'm talking. Subconsciously, I may not be realizing. Okay, consciousness is that you've got subconscious, and subconscious is a lot more programs. So when it comes to a schooling system, we should follow more Eastern. We should be able to sit down, meditate. We should be able to listen. We should be able to sing. We should be able to do stuff. But we just need respect. We can't be cooped up just in front of the TV all the time. And I just want to relax now because I know what's going on at the hospital, and I am very faithful, but I think they're taking the mickey now on who does what. I was filtered, so my ears, I used to have implants that I could hear things. I go unfiltered. So that means it might be a bit full on, but at least if someone's dying next to me, I'm still going to hear it. And what I'm getting from it, from about my samples, and Trump was channeling, going, Martin, what it is that we want to have a strong family, but we want it to be that we remember it for a certain reason. Why people are obligated to have to stick through to it. I think that that everything is too full on for people. The TV has been a really good thing for people just to be able to zone out. That's why we called it the telly ban. We banned the TV. I know that it's too much for some people to know what's going on, and their heads would just fucking blow fair off their fucking noggin if they realised what was going on. So I always say that sometimes it's better if someone stuffs you over, not intentionally or maybe intentionally, to realise that it makes them try harder next time. As in that it's giving them power and drive to say, well, okay, you've done something wrong. Okay, scenario one, they've done nothing wrong. They haven't done anything wrong that they feel obliged to do anything, and someone goes, oh, you're stuffed up here. Automatically they're thinking about, how can I fucking weasel my way out of it? Option two, someone's done something wrong by you. And then they realise that you've given them all this opportunity, you've given them all this, you've been granted all this stuff. And then they go, oh fuck, I've done something. So they're not trying to weasel their way out of things. There should be a greener opportunity, a greener life. Everything should be through frequency and vibration. So when I mean frequency of vibration, is that, one thing that I was thought about, and I love my daughter, I love my family. And V said, the teacher said, what have you learned at school? And she said she couldn't say. Well, I learnt a lot more out of school, reflecting back on what I was at school. And I'm blessed with everything. I think that too much of anything, like I took a mickey out of, Pauline Hanson, she got, or even Clive, we all got looked after. We all got looked after. And that, that I think all it needs to be is that I should be given Crown land and I've got a really good rapport with Vacheka, she's Cambodian and Indian, so I've got a really good rapport. And what rapport means is like a sound sort of, I want to, that I, some things that we don't like and causes us anxiety, if we hold on to it, it can be a blessing. We can all get caught up in locker boy talk. I'm very, we can all, we need to learn to go unfiltered, which means no deep in-ear hearing aids. I think the policing system, what needs to happen is that we've got to have respect for everyone. Everyone that is in, whether it be past, present or future, should have to get in touch with nature on Crown land, that they can we all get back to basics, pen to paper, pencil to paper. We don't have to report to anyone. We should learn more music. We should have a journal that is purely for us, one for our loved ones. And we have to master of having a one-word response. So it could be no. Someone, if it's a bad response, no. Or if it's a good response, innuendo, no. How many different ways? And that's it. It's interpretation. And it's all open to interpretation. Matt, I love you, Matt from hospital. My name is. And one thing I got from him was I channeled from him. And he's like, he was in one of my dreams. He goes, Marty, if you ever give away too much information, just keep on talking like pretending you're giving them more information. And then at the end of it, they've got no idea. But, I love Bob. He's really helped me out. And we've got to start realising that sometimes people that we've done that are bad or have done wrong, they keep on popping up like Groundhog Day. So say if I was going to do something stupid and it's all someone who's done something bad to me, they've already been dusted, they've already been cremated, they've already been 6 foot under, and they come bobbing around the corner and blast me for the first 2 seconds to make me realise, that steered me in track, steered me back on course to what I'm doing. You could have groups of one person listening to this that can retain all of it. You could have a group of 2 people. One person could be squiggling and drawing or doing characters. So say if I said I need a house, I just draw a picture of a house. And the other person is like, or groups of 3. It needs to be more music orientated. Adam and Eve, why did that fail? We're going to create 2 people, Adam male, Eve female. Eat the mushroom. We're going to give you a tip. Sex is really good on hallucinogenics. They take it and they go, so what, we're supposed to populate and what's going to happen? We don't want it to be like that. So I'll just say that if you've got a contract that you're about to sign, you should never be rushed into it. So you should be able to have your contract that you're allowed to take outside the building, view in the building, view outside the building, and you've got to be able to sing it. And if you hesitate, so I'll just try and go from here. What am I grateful for? Oh no, but no, you've got to be able to sing it. No, that's it. But at the end of the day, you can't be all serious. Some things, it has to be a pause for people to laugh and have a bit of a joke. But all it is 2 characters, Y or no, N, Y or N. So if you're listening to this, you should always have a mechanical clock. And what you're listening to, it's just like a print-off sheet of it just going up, and you're just going Y or N. And when it says N or Y, you're just circling the time of the mechanical clock that it is, and then you reflect back onto it. And then you could go, fuck. When I go back and reflect on it, it makes sense. And when people feel really emotional and really, really uptight and really like they haven't been listened to, they've been screamed at every single time they try and say something, you hear that screech or you'll hear that and you'll think that you'll shut down and you'll just automatically put it in your trash can so you stop fucking listening, and then you'll say it's their problem. No. The problem is that they've never got to be able to say what they really feel because they get fucking shut down, fucking cut down, and fucking made a mockery of. So I could be with in a group of blokes fucking eating tin cans and fucking smoking whatever, and someone says a fucking 5-word sentence. Everyone gets their interpretation out of it. I go back and I listen to it around my family. I get a different interpretation to what those words mean. I go around into someone else that's like Eastern or Western or Northern or Southern or whatever, and I get a different interpretation to what that means. And you could go into a boss, like a boss starts talking to people, And the boss thinks it's gone pear-shaped because there's got a big blank look on their face, and he thinks it's all gone to shit. But the boss goes on holidays for 5 years and signs off and says, no, let him just still stay in there. He comes back in 5 years and 1 day, and he goes and he sits down to this same people with this, I bet you they haven't even fucking sunken in, and he listens to them, and they're just like, fuck, they're teaching me something. Reflection, past, present, future is all connected. It doesn't have to make sense there and then. If everything is just a film, like a projector film, looping and fucking overlaying and snipping and pasting and all it is if you're trying to sign a contract and you can't sing the contract to be musical, then you know that there's something wrong. In this whole thing, that people can have stunt doubles or people that are robots that come around the corner. You could be there and the boss comes in and, they go back out, but then someone comes in looking like them saying, have you signed your contract yet? And it's just like a robot. So all it is that we need to have respect for people. We have to have respect for China. And people would say, China, they've got nothing. But I'll tell you what, that was the best investment that I've ever had, and I absolutely love you, China. And you know that there is technology out there that you can hear voices, you can see things, you could even be reading something that you've written out, a 2-word sentence, and you're looking at it again and it looks something totally different. So you're at a party, right? We've got a campfire going. Everything good happens around a campfire. There's around a whole heap of people that, you've been a bit sort of secluded to yourself. You've done a lot of deep thinking, but you haven't externalized. You haven't talked that much. You're more internalized, more of an introvert, not an extrovert. And as soon as you try and say something, it's just like you stutter or you can't say it or someone else talks over you. If you're wanting just to say to someone, give them a compliment, always start off with a compliment. So if it's someone who's talking, and you can't even know what to say, give them a compliment. But before you give them a compliment, nut out what you're about to say by saying something simplistic and holistic, by saying, this is really crazy. I heard it off this really crazy person, and try and put in some humor and said, this crazy person, he was from the nut world, but he said, whenever you want to try and think of something, say it 3 or 5 times in your mind to the end of it. And someone goes, hey, I always interrupt people because whenever I go to talk, I fucking forget what I say and internalize it. So say that, say a compliment, say something to the best jokes are always about yourself, but don't have innuendo. Don't have things that, and always if it is a bit of a long-winded and a long night, always have just write on a piece of paper or take a photo of it in case they lose it, that they can send a message to them to remind them of something that they should look at. So some people aren't literate, some people can't spell, some people don't even know what even the meaning or the definition is of anything. So all it is you could go, book form is good, go to the library, look up the word grateful, and then take a photo of what grateful means. And then you could print that out because you can't write over books in the library, and then you could highlight it. And you could highlight it in blue like the main thing, because it could be grateful 1, grateful 2, grateful 1A, grateful 2B, grateful blah blah blah. And then you could have another colour of different things to what it means. And then you could say, it could bring up grateful to another word. What does that mean? Let's look up what yes means. Let's look up what this means. Put it together. And when you've put it together in order, rearrange the order. So say if you've got 10 pages, that's only got 5 lines, normally start at the back first. because I don't know how it works, but what I would like to do is to have Wilkie or someone, or even Walshy, that advocates for Walshy, and just to say, I just want to have a room up there, I just want to chill out, I don't want to be full on, I want to have nominate some people from the CIA or the NSA or whatever to be my sort of assistants, and we're going to put on a doof, we're going to do some artwork, we're going to keep it to ourselves, we're going to have a pact, we're going to say this is what we're going to do. And I've done a lot of work, I've paid to work, and I lack insight to knowing what my options are, and I think they're taking the piss at the hospital at the moment, trying to use them as I respect Jackie, she's a really top chick there from a Canadian lady, and I'm just wanting to relax, whether I camp out tonight or whether I bump into people. But good intel, okay, if I've just had enough, if anyone, whether it be police or law enforcement, intel, anything, defence, had to be played in their ear of a scenario backwards, forwards or randomly of all the things I've been subjected to, the head would fucking melt down. And if they had to talk to me at the same time or 2 seconds after, they wouldn't even know what the fuck to say. But that's not it. If everything becomes too much and you have a meltdown, you start screaming or whatever, once it's out, you feel better. I think that, I'm getting slowed down to a bit. I worked at Halo nightclub at McCready's. I met a lot of people that were undercover from every country. And all that has come in handy. Just to put it out there that the CIA should have the McCready's and everyone that's been in the police force their back, because the reason why certain countries destabilised this Afghanistan, because it's rich in oil, it's rich in uranium, it's rich in plutonium. All our computer chips, all our cell phone chips come from here. And we just need to have a little bit of respect. But at the end of the day, we are tested a million times. If someone goes off and someone wants to kill someone, it's not just whatever, but if they're tested, they're tested, they're tested, they're tested, they're tested, they're tested. And we have to have some empathy, we've got to have some compassion, we've got to have a bit of introspection, a bit of fucking just realisation. And I've been talking now, and people go, well, what's your one word to nut it out? It's positive. It's reinforcing. But the old system, but he just mentioned something about killing someone. Let's just put a big fucking highlight that, and that's what we're going after. No. It is a story. Everything is a bunch of stories. We would probably, when we get in touch with nature, go back to movies we used to watch at high school, primary school, college, or after, or even playing back fucking from the NSA of conversations we had when we were sloshed and we'd cringe. We'd be like, oh my fucking God. But where are we today? I sometimes find it better not hanging out with people, but people that have had a bit of a rough trot, to try and help them. Some people are too far gone, but all it is that having a more sort of like, it's like anything. If you've got baby feet or fucking, and you start walking on fucking the tarmac, you start walking on rocks, you could probably walk on fire and flames and fucking broken glass at the end of the day. It gets you ready for what it is. But I'm sick of these people that are racist. I'm sick of these people that saying that China doesn't have anything, they only make cheap shit plastic or whatever. We've got to learn from each other, and all it should be is that at the start of the day when you wake up, you should have a book that you write a few dot points. So if you feel compelled to write a big write-up, write a big write, or have dot points. But before you go to sleep, do some dot points. Go over it, read it forwards, like downwards, read it downwards, read it random. And just keep on going over that. You might have one word that you want to embrace that you look up every single day. Oh, the word fucking superlative has got a fucking superlative 1A, superlative 2B, superlative 65 million. How about each day we'll just look at each one and how to embrace that. So if I was listening to this, or if I was to whatever, you know, not everyone has to listen to it from start to finish. Some people could just go, I've heard enough, I'm going to go off and do what my duty is based on what I got out of it. We should be critical, but not super critical, and realise sometimes the environmental factors do have a big part in things. It's better to be the richest person in the world and have everything at their fingertips and have everything but to know on how it is to get by on $1 a day. I always said if it was someone who was a bum in the street and they're asking for money, sit down and have a chat to them. Hey mate, how you doing? Oh, can I have some money? I'll be like, all right mate, I'll give you $10, but I want you to tell me a joke, and if you make me laugh, I'll give you another $10, and if that all goes well, and you listen to me have a little spiel for like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, I'll give you 50. But we're going into the pub first, you know, or whatever, and get them to be sort of like to sit down and chat to them, and you know, take them away to a certain place, because sometimes some people are generally just misfortune, and we've got to change the environment. We've got to realise Tasmania was so fucked up because the aliens or the fucking shapeshifters from some other universe wanted to come down and rape us for our minerals. And that's all it is. There's no point. No one fucking knows. And anyone who did fucking know, incarnations. That's it. Dusted. Alright, so all we've got to be able to do is that if I own the Federal Reserve, or if I own whatever, I would like to be able to get everyone to be self-sufficient, to be able to say, well, I slept through winter by myself, let's see how everyone else can fucking sleep through summer. Let's take people's technology away from them for one day and then they can have it back, but let's practice silence. Let's practice meditation. Let's practice parapsychology. And that's para not as getting off your head, but like saying if two people are talking and you want to talk, instead of talking out loud, you're talking to them in your mind. And then you realise they actually start changing their conversation based on what you are talking about. So I would really just like to be given Tolosa Park, and there could be a bit fenced off that I could just sort of be able to just, still sleep outside. I would like to be able to build my own little house. Don't worry, don't scrap all the houses that are getting built and everything like that, but I just want to get it done that I can say to my family that I did all the hard work. I don't have to tell them how many times I've been raped or how many times. I can say, hey, this is what I've done, this is what I'm doing, and I can tell you, you can nut out who are good people and who are bad people. Some people that have had a lot might find it hard sleeping outside, but you'll know what people's are intentions by getting to them being in touch with nature. And I don't want to be in the limelight. I don't want it to be whatever. I don't want people to have to go through the agony and the turmoil that I've had to go through. I think that we should just have respect for each other. We should have respect for people of different cultures, different colours, people that speak different languages. And all it is to go into it saying you're choosing 3 words. It could be no, 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 no. And you could say it's forwards, N-O, no. You could say backwards, on. Are we getting on? No. Are we getting on? And it's just 3 words, and that's all it has to be. Like 3 words, how you go into a conversation. And it should be how you pronounce those words. So over and out, over and out. Catch you later, catch you later. God bless. And at the end of the day, I just want to have a good time. I'm going to go for a walk. I just want people to be pleasant. I don't want to get sloshed. I just want to have good conversations. It should all be about, having good times, just reminiscing, saying what we're grateful for and just being good. All right, catch you later.